Hello and welcome back to Let's Play UnderRail Expedition with me, BringItDon. So the oddity that I found in the Hecate research outpost was the mutated cockroach. You're not sure if mutations make it more or less disgusting than regular cockroaches. Only one point of experience. Also, I apologize for the last episode and that nothing that existed at the beginning of it. I'm not sure what that was. It was not in my unuploaded or non-uploaded version of the video. I did end up going and using the YouTube Studio editor to cut out that beginning part, so that should eventually be done. Alright, you're still in one piece. Very good. What's Yehoda's status? She's alright. She's with the rest of the troops. Are you alright, Professor? I think so. I haven't been this close to death since the Battle of Dis. Goodness me, Richard. There were so many of them. But their voices, that language. What did you do that angered them this much? Professor and the Chief exchange looks briefly before the latter responds to you. Listen up. There are two major factions in control of the Black Sea. The pirates and the natives. The pirates call themselves the Grim Jetters. They control the southern and southeastern waters. They are not actively interfering with our operations as yet, although our patrols have had several violent encounters with them. Whereas the savages have been a thorn in our side ever since we arrived here. By the caverns, these violent, inarticulate creatures are the cause of almost all of our problems here, and now they're trying to raise the camp to the ground and butcher us all. Goodness me. Well, they obviously feel threatened by your presence. We tried communicating with them, but their first and only response was to resort to violence. Professor, it appears that Ladelman had been correct all along. I had him ask around Core City about the natives while we were there. Barring a few old tales, no one ever reported seeing people matching their description. Whoever they are, they've had little to no contact with the rest of South UnderRail. Goodness me, Richard, who are we dealing with? These people must have settled here after Biocore withdrew all its military from the Black Sea. But when and why? They do not appear to have adopted any of the NFT technology, so why come here? Biocore military, NFT. Professor, we will continue this conversation later. I need to return to my men. I have yet to determine the casualties and overall damage we have suffered. Can you at least tell me about this NFT? That will have to wait, Brondon. See Marcus about your gear. His tent is the one just across from this one. Once I have assembled a recovery team, I will brief you. One moment, please. Brondon, would you mind going to Jeremy Seeger's tent, and seeing if he has complied with any of the recovered information so far? The network is down, hopefully temporarily, and he's not responding to his comm. We're going to need this data if we plan on dispatching a recovery team. Don't you gentlemen agree? Of course he doesn't mind. Here are your orders. Collect your equipment from Marcus first, then go to Seeger. His tent is the one past the medical tent. Then return to the Professor. Is that clear? Do I see you after that, sir? I'll call you when I need you. That applies to all situations other than when it is something of utmost urgency. Do not keep the Professor waiting. Alright, not. Professor, he leaves. Does he? Is he gonna leave? Aha! I'm the captain now. I'm busy now. Alright. Tony and Marcus seem to be discussing something and are unaware of your presence. I gotta say I'm impressed with you, Marky. Not only did you not get zoned out, but you actually did something useful during the fight. Sure, you played with your little toys from the safety of your tent, but hey, you got the job done. That is a compliment, correct? And just for the record, the turrets can work autonomously. However, in situations as this one, it is always the wisest course of action to have someone behind the controls for better target assessment. No, Marky. No. How many times I gotta remind you? You gotta put it kinda like this. Well, if it wasn't for me, you pipe worker, you'd be checking the pipes from your forehead right now. Yeah. Where I'm from, you gotta pull out them hardcore comebacks, not go on about, target assessment. Checking the pipes? Oh, grind it. It's Core City slang, Marky. It means to take a leak or to piss. The whole phrase was supposed to mean that one of the freaks would have made a hole in my forehead and... Okay, forget the slang. Use your own words. Just not one of your la-di-da words like urinating or ejecting lateral liquid waste. Oh. Don't be absurd, Tone. No one uses that expression. You just made that up. Well, it's how all you northerners, fat rats, and the rest of the la-di-da sound to me. You're too uptight. He squishes his nose upward. You all sound like you're going to get pipework and cancer if you say a naughty word. You use far too many dumb, sterile euphemisms that suck all the fun out of language, Marky. So please, the next time you want to go check the pipes, you're not urinating, but going for a piss. I see where this is going. How about this? If it hadn't been for me and my turrets, your head would have been impaled on a spear and paraded around. Angrily. You stinker. What the? Pipe? No. He grabs his crotch. Ow. You're so lame it hurts my... While Tony is holding onto his crotch and acting out utter agony, Marcus is slowly squeezing his forehead into a chasmic frown. He erupts as soon as his irritation reaches its peak. How about I bust your nose to take your mind off your groin? Oh, that's it. Yeah. You're getting it. You're getting the hang of it. Oh, I am glad you got at least some of it in you, Marky. There's still hope. Give me another one. Come on. I want to hear a hardcore insult. Eat. I really want to say this one, but I'm also invested in intimidation, so should I say this? Yeah, alright, I'm gonna go with the intimidation. You want to check your pipes? They'd be checking your windpipe instead after I ran my fist down your throat. Listen to this, Marcus. Now that's someone who's got it. Not only should the line be hardcore, but the delivery's gotta be spot on too. You want to make a guy soil his pants all the... Oh, wait. You want to make a guy soil his pants all the way? Oh, you're that new sec trooper, eh? That's BringItDon, a true badass. Nice to meet you, BringItDon. I'm Marcus Werther. I saw how you fought through the turret's visual feed. Impressive. Unlike this blabbermouth here. You're getting the hang of it, Marky. Keep poking. Yes, well, tell us. What do you need? I wanted to speak with you, Tony. See to Marcus if you want to get your gear. It's that wimp over there. Okay, well, never mind. What do you need? Anyone around here exchanging United Stations dollars for Sharon's? I can do it for you, BringItDon. In fact, you can also pay in dollars when purchasing items from me or Dr. Savage, or Savage. But not from me. No sirree. I still haven't gotten used to handling them northern blue bills. It messes up my, calculation. Besides, dollars look like monorail money. Real steel is where it's at, baby. Real super hardcore steel. Yes, well, anyway. I'll give you 1.5 Stygian coins per dollar. Alright, trade. That'll be all. Let's see. Yeah, anything I can do to help with the camp's defenses? There is something you can do. The NFT had plenty of automated defenses deployed on this island. Most of it is destroyed, but perhaps there is something we could still use if we knew how, and that is something you could potentially discover during the course of your assignments. You can go and zone out the savages. That'd solve our problems. Tone, you can't expect him to attack the natives all on his own. Or can you? He sighs and turns to you. Also, contact me if you find any functional military equipment, and I'll dispatch a boat to transport it to the camp if possible. It's not much to go on, I know, but hopefully something will come up. I'm here to collect my paycheck. Okay, BringItDon, let me see. Yes, here you go. He hands you 300 Stygian coins. I've yet to get used to these Stygian coins. I still think in terms of blues. United Stations dollars, I mean. Alright, Chief Briggs told me to see you about collecting my gear. Right away. Hey Tone, would you mind handing me one of the suits? Right away. Meanwhile, take this. He hands you a device. Here's a navcom, a navigation and communication device. Its communication range is substantial and should cover the entire Black Sea. Still, I can't tell you how it is going to behave once you move beyond that or go into another cave system or NFT facilities. As for navigation, it's fairly simple. The screen will display the grid square of the currently loaded coordinate system you're in. Now pay attention here. The coordinate system currently displayed is the one recovered from an NFT device. This means that the coordinates you read on NFT devices are the ones your navcom can point you to. We'll all be using those coordinates during the expedition, so we'll all understand each other. Hopefully. He smiles. He points to the navcom's display. Right now we're in D6, as you can see. Just to make it clear, letters represent your position along the east-west axis, numbers along your north-south axis. Here, Tony approaches you with a complete suit of Aegis Incorporated combat armor in his hands. As he returns to his spot behind the desk, you notice him putting away a couple of nylon bags, which were most likely used to store the items he just gave you. There's your armor. I don't think I should explain how to put it on. You have your own weapons, or that's what I've been told. But if you need anything from our armory, talk to that guy over there. He points to Ladleman. That's me. That's him. He's also got weapon attachments, spare parts, and a plethora of other related items. If you need energy weapons or anything high-tech on the other hand, see me. And that should be... Oh yes, wait. Let's just check if the comm is working properly. Push that button, that one there, and say something. Tanner, can you hear me? He cannot, he smiles. He speaks into his own communicator. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Alright, everything appears to be in order. The device will display a name next to each of the channels so you know who you're talking to. I'm on channel 1. Contact me if you need some help, info, or if you need to speak to someone from the staff who doesn't have a comm of his own. And that's it. You got your gear, and I hope everything was clear. Alright, let's barter. Do you have batteries, other junk? Okay. Alright, any natives in sight, BringItDon? Makes me feel like the Marina Challengers waiting for a match with the beasts. I wanted to ask you about some of the people in this camp. Ooh, tittle-tattlin'. Tell me about Professor Oldfield. Professor Oldfield is one of the most respected professors at the University of Dis, and one of the rare experts in the areas of supercorporation and biocore history. It was his research efforts which led to the organization of this expedition. You Northerners in your la-di-da schools. Here you just need some common sense beaten into you with a sturdy leather belt when you're young, and off you go. The educational institutions provide a proper learning environment and a systematic approach to teaching wherein students, under the direction of qualified teachers, can progress quickly and without gaps in knowledge which often occur when they are self-taught. And then you get folks which can spew out la-di-da sentences that can't even catch a darn hopper. There's also brainwashing. Don't forget brainwashing, Marky. They're teaching you what they want you to know, like their history and their math. There's no point in arguing with you, Tone, is there? Because life gave me all the best arguments, Marky. Bwahaha. About the professor, okay. About the professor. You know, when I heard about the expedition, I was real worried about who I was going with to the Hell's Gut. I felt easier when I saw Aegis with lots of guns, yeah. But being the head of the expedition, now you gotta have someone who knows his stuff and ain't a derailed man who's gonna get you all zoned out. When I talked to the professor, I liked him. He knew his stuff, seemed level-headed, and offered me a lot of coins. And you might even learn something interesting here. I ain't against learning, Marky. I'm just against school. But you know what? If someone ever put a gun to my head and forced me to go to school, I'd ask for Professor Oldfield to teach me. Otherwise, I'd just eat the bullet. Tell me about Chief Briggs. Chief Briggs is... Now, even though both of you expect me to dislike our good old Briggsy, I gotta give the man the credit for what he's doing here. Briggsy? No, I'm hardcore serious. The man is responsible not only for his clients, but for his soldiers and any left-handed zoner who thought he was gonna stuff his pants with so much coin, he was gonna look like his cobbles have turned into boulders after this gig. It ain't easy. Yes, I get scolded all the time, but ain't always wrong. He may be a grumpy jerk, but he's gotta keep this place running and safe. I dig that. It's stressful. He wasn't as grumpy when we first came here, after all. And he may be so stuck up. We get the point, Tone. His sense of humor might be as absent as Marky's liveliness. As absent as your sense of decency, or knowing when to shut up. We got 2 supply trips to Core City ago, Tone. I like him when he's got a good comeback. Alright, Ladleman, tell me about yourself. Well, BringItDon, I am, what you call it, a Tony of all trades. My life has had so many twists and turns and tunnels and crevices and drops and whatnot that I never got the chance to settle in one place on one job. You've been living in Core City for 5 years. That's worth something. Well, yeah, but where in Core City? I used to live in the drop zone at first, fixing shacks and cooking barrel soup until I could get out of that place. That hairy, greasy zoner who mistook me for his wife one night is an experience I'll never recover from. If my hardcore sister Lily hadn't helped me out, I would have been snuggling with fat zoners for a few more months. Bunch of smelly drop-offs. Only after I rented a place in the residential area did I start living like a man. Do you know where the Wardell residence is? That's where I'm living right now. You son of a fat rat. Who'd you zone out to get to live there? Joe DiPacino, an ancient rat hound with sonic powers, and a gang of mercenaries. Fair enough. Welcome to the neighborhood, neighbor. Anyways, I got here because my pal Danky Max. He told me some wimps from the north were looking for a guide. Yet they somehow picked him. Yeah, that's shut up. I've been all over South UnderRail. Born in Junkyard, fixed quads in Rail Crossing, hunted in Hathor, mined in Foundry, and lived. And most importantly, I was raised on a darn boat. My dad, a sailor like no other, he took me all over the waterways before I got my first jet and could ride alongside him. He's one of the rare people who had the guts to sail through the Black Strait and peer into the Hell's Gut. Swear on my sister Lily. And now, I'm here, Tony Ladleman. He turns to you, helping that ungrateful wimp over there. Bwahaha. Marcus, tell me about yourself. I'm a sec engineer. I handle weapons, electronic equipment, shield emitters, turrets, surveillance too, those sorts of things. Hey, how long have you been here again? About 3.5 years. I'm one of the newer and younger employees here, as most sec troopers are either experienced protectorate soldiers or have worked in security or law enforcement for a while. 3.5 years on a single job. Darn. I change them like I change socks. Bad example. I change them, often. Well, even though it might be hard to say so in conditions like these, I'm happy working for Aegis Incorporated. The pay is good, but most importantly, I find being a sec engineer a lot more satisfying and fulfilling than what I did before, no matter how tough supporting this entire operation may be. Ain't life perfect, Marky? I felt the same when I switched from assembling hand grenades to repairing machine guns. Safer, simpler job that paid better, and the proprietor had this hot blonde daughter. Come to think of it, I lost that job because of her. Yeah. Our life stories are exactly the same. He smiles. Sure are, Marky. Sure are. We just gotta make it out of here alive. Alright, what can you tell me about Yehoda? She's what we call a security specialist. Spec Yehoda? No. Sec specialist. Spec Yehoda. She assumes roles which require expertise beyond that of the normal sec troopers. The general population thinks our job consists of simply escorting and protecting clients from one place to the other. But as you've seen for yourself by now, we're capable of doing much more than that. We sometimes need to function like a small army, and thus require people with a variety of skills. She has a master of infiltration and a sharpshooter like no other, and she can hit a man straight in the eye from 500 meters away, and she does not have any kind of ocular augmentation. Hard to believe, but it's true. Maybe she should have augmented her attitude a bit. The chick's acting like she's the chief herself. I mean, if you want to be the boss of me, you gotta have some curves, baby. Yeah. Well, she is second in command here. Not saying she is not a bit difficult sometimes, but let's face it, she earned it. She's been on many jobs, always performing flawlessly in pretty much any role you put her. Yeah, you put her. Earned it, eh? You know about these rumors. Rumors? You mean that she's Briggs' Yeah, they're grinding. His eyes almost pop out of their sockets. What? You know, nookie, rumpy pumpy. Sure, they kinda look alike and have the same grumpy attitude, and I can imagine you sec troopers barking up that cliff. But every laborer I talked to said, yep, they're grinding alright. Swear on my sister Lily. I mean, he asked to see her straight away after we came back from Core City. What's that telling you? Marky? He came back for that Talon freezer kiss. Cold but sloppy. It's telling me we're done discussing this. What a drop joy. About Seeger. Ginger. Professor's computer guy. Can't dig half the things he's saying. He can't understand half the things you're saying. Why ain't that pipe working? Ha. To clarify, BringItDon, it's not the technical terms that confuse Tone, most of the time. It's the hexagonian slang he's using. And to tell you the truth, even though I visit Hexagon fairly regularly, I too can sometimes struggle with some of the new terms he's using. It all changes so fast. X this, X that. It's a one-trick hopper, don't you think? You mean like pipe this, pipe that? Darn it, Marky, you really gotta make this hardcore for me, don't you? But why Ginger? Don't think I've heard anyone else call him that. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw him. He's kinda ginger. Why not say dreadlocks? Ah no, that'd make him sound far too hardcore for someone who's playing with computers all day. Wahaha. But at that, the kid's dominating. And at making coffee. Yeah, that stuff's hardcore. Alright, tell me about Doc Savage. Doc Savage is our chief security medic. He's a veteran who's been with Aegis Incorporated since the very foundation. Well, this job he ain't taking all too well. Can't make it without his smokes. Here you're hardcore if you have to get a smoke once a month. This expedition is difficult for all of us, Tone. The Doc's the one treating all the sick and dying. To my knowledge, Aegis has never done anything at this scale before, and with so many casualties. And there are some other problems as well, but I'd rather we don't go into that. Wait a second. Wait. It's a woman, right? Every time someone mentions other problems, it's gotta be a pipe-working woman. What snake messed him up, huh? He's married, and I said we aren't discussing that. Ah, then it's all clear. She didn't want him coming here. It's gotta be that. That's what women are like, Marky. Some of my best mates hoppered out of some dangerous stuff because of girlfriends. Now, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're dead wrong, but women, they always gotta meddle. As for Doc, just add the sick and dying all around him, and it's no wonder he needs them smokes. Don't envy the son of a rat one bit. Alright, what are you selling? Everything kind of sucks. Sting ball grenade. That's new. Okay, can I talk to any of these other people? Oh, he's trying to bring that guy back. Yeah, I probably shouldn't mess with him. He said past the medical tent, right? So I guess maybe it's in the next section? Alright, let's go see if we can't find Seeger. Now that we know everything about all the important players with Aegis Incorporated. Alright, there's Seeger. Let's explore through here real quick. It's an exceptionally well-preserved statue of a completely naked woman. It displays nothing. Tap it. Nothing happens. Swipe across it. Punch it. It's rather sturdy considering its appearance and age. Your violence, however, does nothing useful. Okay, so there's nothing else here. Wait a second, what? Why does my custom note not pop up here, but it does when I go down? Huh, that's interesting. Alright. University of Dis, Jeremy Seeger. Black Sea recovered NPC data. Black Sea recovered NPC data, sort by name, Palmer George, The Keep. George Palmer, LE 1710-122. Dear Father, right now, as I'm writing this, the Biocore Navy is clearing the arched tunnel which we had collapsed in order to slow down their advance. Sadly, they're doing so with great efficiency. Floater mines will buy us some more time, but that time will quickly run out. Our gliders are patrolling the island perimeter. Fellow security marines are boarding the carriers. Plasma cannons are being blank charged and aimed at the arch. Servants have been brought to help set up all our static defenses. And Naga, missing. Me, I am sitting in my bunker with my dear friends and comrades in arms, Clive Mitchell and Angus Hall, waiting for the looming battle. I've already written to Julia, and I've written to Mom, and now I'm writing to you. But you're the most difficult one to write to, for a simple reason. I know you will not be reading this. Yet I still need to type in these words, because if I don't do it now, I might never get another chance. You're never a man of patience, so I'll keep it as brief as possible. What we're doing today is defending our future. Just like you, Father, I too have passed security, some missing proud. And I know that if you were able to, you too would be with me in this bunker, blaster in hand and teeth ready to chew through each and every Biocore soldier's neck if need be. We'd be side by side, one missing. But you are not here. You are not alive anymore. Despite 15 years of absence, there is still a way for us to fight together. It's through me. Because I am you. I used to think that if it weren't for family pictures, videos, or holograms, I'd forget you. Forget how you looked and sounded and behaved. But now I know I need only look in the mirror, and I'd see you every time. Father, the time is nigh. Join me in battle, and let us show those wicked fiends. Okay, interesting. That's the only thing I can read, right? Nope, didn't mean to click on it again. An alluring scent invites you inside. It's rich, pleasant, and strong enough to draw a hopper out of its crevice. It's like coffee, but smells infinitely better than the dark brown dust mixed with water consumed throughout South UnderRail. This is something from the north. And if the delightful aroma is any indication, tasting it has got to be quite an experience. You take a step toward the man sitting at the desk, looking at letters and numbers and symbols of various kinds scrolling across his screen. He hears you and turns around, and in his hand, a tea flask of smoking black liquid. It is coffee after all. Yo, you need something? Are you Jeremy Seeger? Professor Oldfield told me to see you. Yeah, the one. You gotta be one of the new sect troopers, huh? Welcome to the Hell's Gut, man. The name seems more and more appropriate the more time we spend here. Am I right now? Well, anyway, what have you got for me? What do you do around here? Well, I'm the person who gets called when a cooler in someone's desktop is louder than ass, when a mobile ain't working right due to fat finger syndrome, and inappropriate usage in general, or when I lost all my data because the power died, when in fact his data is fine, he just doesn't know where he's been saving it. He sighs. So typical IT, alright. What I was actually brought here to do is data recovery, decryption, analysis, Excel. But some people don't realize that and bug me about each and every triviality they encounter. Triviality. Yeah, triviality. Yeah. So if your mobile is acting funky, please leave me out of it. Zyle. Is that coffee you're drinking? This? Yes. Why? Never seen coffee before? I have. He pauses, watching you while a pillar of smoke from the hot coffee pirouettes between you and him. With commiseration in his eyes, he softly proceeds. You don't have coffee beans here. Coffee beans? Wow, I'm sorry. I knew things were bad here, but this bad? Zit. Exit. Is that how I'm supposed to say it? Exit? But you have, like, hydroponics, right? You are capable of growing certain plants here. Then why no real coffee? I don't get it. My home station has hydroponics, but I haven't seen many elsewhere. He shakes his head and... No man should live without good Exon coffee. You know, I got some more here. He glances at the coffee maker on the other table. You want one? I would very much like some coffee. Okay. He goes to his coffee maker and presses a button. As the coffee is poured into the tea flask, the air slowly becomes wonderfully saturated with its smell. After a few moments, you have in your hands a tea flask full of smoking hot coffee. Yeah, thanks, Seeger. No problem. Enjoy your coffee, man. Excel. Are you using some strange words I'm not familiar with? The one starting with X. Oh, like extreme and exit? It's complicated. It's hexagonian. X slang. Sorry, I totally forgot you're a southerner and you don't know about that stuff. I mean, don't take it the wrong way, man. It's just that you people prefer the arena. K, since that's what you have here. I mean, not because one is worse than the other. Actually, it's not really a good comparison at all because of the, you know. I should just, stop talking now. Forget I said anything. Silence. I find what you said deeply offensive. It's alright. No need to stress over it, man. I'm not stressed at all. He takes a sip from his tea flask and shakes his head sideways, vacantly staring forward. Not at all. Now tell me about Hexagon. You know, man, maybe some other time. It's kind of a broad topic, and I have work to do. Some other time. He sips some coffee. Alright, Professor Oldfield wants to know if you've compiled the recovered data for him. We're under attack, man. Now, I may be a kind of person that rarely lifts my ass from the chair, but even I'm not that extreme to sit here and shift through this stuff while people are dying, like, around me. He turns to the computer and opens a file, sighing. But yeah, I do have some of the important bits sorted. I'll send it to him as soon as the network's back. He glances at one of his monitors and raises his eyebrows. Oh, Mark has sorted the power. Extra, extra. Sending it now. What is this about, really? The data. The professor mentioned it's some kind of breakthrough discovery. Oh yes, you betcha. You see, ever since we got here, we've been trying to find a way to enter that building just across from my tent. The keep. The panel by the gate is totally unresponsive, and the walls are extremely thick and sturdy. Hey, the building did survive the biocore assault on the island after all. And you know, we don't just want to blow things up here unless we really, really, really gotta. Now the building's still got power, okay? As we're easily picking that up on our instruments, but so far we haven't found a way to interface with that panel. Until I recovered this data. According to it, the panel is actually a scanner, which authenticates a person based on a small active radio frequency identification, or a RFID, microchip that is most often implanted in the right hand. So we find one of these microchips, or learn to... Wait an exon second. Why am I telling you all this? Gesture him to proceed. Well, okay. We find a working chip and we're in. All other NFT facilities should work the same way, so we'll be able to gain access to those as well, if we can get through the natives. Anyway, it seems every NFT citizen had an implant. His implants also contain some other personal data, but that is of secondary importance right now. So where do we find one of these chips? Now that's the... An ascending two-note sound interrupts your conversation, as something flashes on the bottom of his right screen. Excuse me for a moment. It's the professor. Puts his coffee aside and his headset on, adjusts the microphone, and clicks the icon flashing on his screen. A window pops up, its top right corner bearing what appears to be the University of Dis logo, an outline of a frontal view of a grandiose building placed in a circle, under which University of Dis is written in a serif font. Sorry, I'm struggling to read this. I think I'm reading too fast as well. Then the face of Professor Oldfield appears, speaking words only Seeger can hear. Yes, sir? You did? He turns to you, still talking to the professor. Huh? Yes, he's here. I'll tell him. He's still facing you, but his gleaming eyes are looking through you. Oh, thank you, sir. He smiles. I know. I'm well aware of that, sir. Excel. I dropped the comm once the attack started and broke it. Yes, I understand. What did the professor say? Just as you open your mouth, his face disappears behind a broad smile. Really? Yes, sir. Thank you again, sir. Extra. Yes. I'll tell him what you said. Goodbye. What did the professor say? That you should see him now. Felt like he said a lot more than that. Yes, but not to you. Anyway, you stopped at... Now that's the... Actually, the professor will fill you in on the rest. Come on, man. This is getting ridiculous. You better go see the professor. Alright, I better get going then. Okay, see ya. Alright, well that was exciting. Alright, I'm going to call it here. Next episode, we'll talk to the professor, see what he wants to talk to us about, and maybe progress. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode.